Now, something is rotten in the state of Iceland. Tonight, thousands of people are protesting in the capital, Reykjavik, following the leak of the Panama Papers. They're calling on the Prime Minister, Sigmundur Gunnlaugsson, and his government to resign after details of his family's financial affairs were revealed. He's accused of hiding millions of dollars in the country's banks behind a secretive offshore company. Mr. Gunnlaugsson says no rules were broken. Well, in our Edinburgh studio is the Icelandic journalist Thor Fandel. Good evening to you, Thor. Thank you for joining me. First of all, it's a real political crisis in Iceland tonight, although the PM strenuously denies any wrongdoing.
Well, the PM is behaving like he's behaved for the whole term. He lives in a entirely different reality than the rest of the country, and now we know that his finances are kept outside of Iceland.
And how might this pan out, do you think? I mean, just watching the protesters there, this is indeed a serious political crisis for Iceland.
I mean, Icelanders are angry. We watched the cabinet implode under the weight of its corruption in the last few weeks. We watched, as the world did too, when our Prime Minister was exposed as a liar, a fraud and a hypocrite. I mean, obviously people are furious. I mean, this is a man that he is a demagogue. I mean, to put him in a UK context, he is like a mix of Nigel Farage on steroids with a less funny Boris Johnson.
So what does this mean for Iceland then? Because in a way, I suppose, national pride must really have been dented, perhaps, when you see the extent of the Panama Papers leak on Iceland.
I'm sure for many people this will dent our pride, but I think most people will realize eventually that this is healthy for us, and we need to look into these things, and we cannot keep perpetuating this utopian progressive image to the outside world while this sort of stuff is going on. We have 10 cabinet ministers in Iceland. 3 of them own offshore companies. That means that Iceland is probably one of the most offshore countries in the world.
And just finally, that is the view that we have of Iceland, that it is perhaps this utopia, this kind of perfect Nordic model.
Well, it's been proven that it's entirely false. And even now, I mean, I think most people are gobsmacked seeing a Prime Minister that has just been revealed not only to have properties and wealth in tax havens, but also that interview that the world watched. It was filmed on March the 11th. We watched him deny this since the 15th, and now we realize that there was a video of him lying to foreign journalists and Icelandic journalists. So, I mean, obviously, it's unbelievable.
Thor Fandel, thank you very much for joining me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now let's speak to Libby Brooks, the Guardian Scotland correspondent, and Kieran Andrews, the political editor of The Courier. Good evening to both of you, here to pick up on some of the stories we've been covering on the programme. Let's pick up on the Panama Papers first of all. And Libby, let's just pick up on what Thor was saying. It's a real crisis for Iceland just now, isn't it?
It seems to be, doesn't it? Although I have to say, good for the Icelandic people being out on the streets. I don't notice anybody out, well, last time I looked, anybody out on the streets of London complaining about David Cameron's family's involvement in this.
And Kieran, I suppose when you look at it, to broaden it out, it does show the extent of how the rich have been hiding their wealth, and this is just one law firm.
Well, absolutely. Who would have thought that Vladimir Putin, the Icelandic Prime Minister, and Lionel Messi would have been the poster boys for tax dodging across the country? And as you say, it's one tranche of documents from one firm. This almost certainly goes far, far wider than what we've seen and in some great journalism by the BBC, The Guardian, but it must go much further than that, which is a big worry for how you think about the money that's being lost, our money for our hospitals, schools, roads. It's been dodged so that people who have it can just hoard it.
That is the thing, isn't it? But public services will have lost out.
Absolutely, we've lost out big time. And this goes wider than the UK, but it must be embarrassing for David Cameron and George Osborne. Put aside the fact for a second that David Cameron's father has been named in these documents, but they've been crowing about their efforts to snare the tax dodgers, to bring in money, to give it to worthy charities. And here we see it's the tip of the iceberg. They're getting nowhere near the full amounts that they could be.
Libya, Keir mentioned investigative journalism. The BBC, The Guardian, of course, other international organisations have been investigating this. It shows the merits of funding investigative journalism, particularly when HMRC are now asking to see these papers.
Yeah, completely. I mean, I think one of the really interesting things about it is it shows how essential data and data journalism has come sort of to the way that we investigate issues now. You know, when you think, I mean, it's extraordinary when you look at it. You had over 100 media organisations looking at these documents, you know, 11 million over, I think it was 3 months. Extraordinary that nobody leaked it or left it in the pub, unlike certain political parties that shall remain nameless. But it is, yeah, I think journalism increasingly is sort of looking for people who are sort of really specialised in dealing with these huge tranches of information and, you know, picking those stories out of them.